I would like to ask you, 5 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses at home. Why is it becoming so hard to win at home?
I wish I knew the answer. Look, over the years, I think our home record has been outstanding. It's been very good. And so maybe that's why it's now big news that, 3 draws and 2 losses at home is not good. I think you could probably look at individual games and figure out some pattern or, the injuries or what. You could make 100 different excuses, but I'm not going to do that. The players aren't going to do that. We're just going to try and regroup and refocus and make sure that we, play better at home. Because normally that's where you gain an advantage. I think the other thing that happened tonight, what I talked to them in the locker room was, home, yes, that's an advantage for sure, but scoring the first goal is an advantage, playing from in front rather than behind. Because then they control the tactics and the time wasting, all of that. So, that's the other point I would probably add on to your point. But no, the home record needs to be better, for sure.
Reminder as we keep going for media on Zoom, if you have a question, please go ahead and hit the raised hand function button. We will get to you during the presser. For here in the room, other hands. Jeremiah, please.
Yeah, through the first 45 minutes up until the goal, it really looked like you were having kind of one of your better first halves. But how much of a let-off is that when you're not able to actually put the goal away to kind of make that count?
Big. The second part of your question's the easy answer, big. But Jeremiah, I might disagree with you a little bit. I think we could have done even better in the first half. I mean, look, coaches are judged by, wins and losses and substitutions and lineups and, all of that sort of stuff. And we expect that. We know that's the deal. And, for me, could we have done a little bit better in preparation for the team to have them understand, all the counter movements that we wanted to have, playing in the pockets, right from the very beginning, you saw they were trying to get 2-against-1 situations wide, and they played Chofi as a false 9. We were trying to get instructions to Javi to bring the ball forward a little bit more instead of passing the ball early, which would trigger their press. So all of those little things that go on during the game, that's what I'll reflect on, because I think we could have played better. Yes, we had some chances. Raul had a chance, and, Kellen got in behind a couple times, and Madrenda, and then Reed's chance. We had chances to go 1-0, for sure. But again, we as coaches have to give them the tools to be successful. And I thought maybe we could have done a better job on that tonight.
Stephen?
Seemed like earlier in the year you were careful not to get too caught up in the wins and in the unbeaten streak. What can you say, what perspective do you have today on not getting too low with the lows now?
Same. I mean, you guys have heard me a lot. MLS is a hard league. These games in the middle of the summer, whether you're winning or losing or what, because look, in years past, this franchise has struggled mid-season, and we just haven't built up as much a cushion, or the expectations haven't been built up because of our start, and we've had kind of, mid-season games we don't play well, and then we turn it on towards the end of the year. That was our storyline. It's kind of flipped. We've had a couple years now where we've come out of the gate pretty good, and we've ended still pretty good, but the similarities between starting off well or not is the same. It's that middle stretch of the summer where those games are, sometimes tough to get points. But again, I think this franchise is, a proud one, I would say. Again, when I get the feeling in that locker room, when I watch their eyes after the game and we're kind of trying to summarize what happened, I see it in their eyes. They're a strong bunch. I'll just get out in front of it. You got a kid who was playing 30 minutes in the second half with a broken rib. And I can just tell how much the kid wants to play because he doesn't want to, You know, he doesn't want to have a little bit of pain, you know, slow him down because he's so into the game, he so wants to play, and I think that's indicative of the entire group. So we will come back, we will try and get a result against Dallas, and, you know, get back on a winning streak.
Mickey?
I guess I'll follow up. Who is suffering from the injury? Is that Reed?
Josh Atencio.
Atencio.
Josh Atencio.
And it seemed like the second half performance, whatever you did at halftime didn't really adjust. Do you think the goal had anything to do with sort of the team having a bit, you know, a sucker punch of sorts? Or is it just...
No, I just didn't think we played again up to our standards. You know, I think the subs, when they come on, their job is to spark the game and kind of, you know, do some things. I thought it was great to have Will back. You know, he had a chance there when he first came on in behind, and, you know, maybe that's a goal to tie it up. But sometimes that happens. I mean, Mickey, sometimes you go in at halftime and you try and, you know, make a few adjustments. It doesn't work. Then I bring subs on. That's kind of my style. And, you know, the subs that came on, it wasn't easy because just the way the game was unfolding, you know, they were wasting a lot of time. We couldn't get any rhythm. You know, we missed a couple passes right away again in the start of that second half. We just couldn't find any rhythm to the game. And I think that's what you saw.
Alonzo, you still have one?
Yeah. Coach, I would like to ask if you have talked to Arriaga. In the goal, it seems like he couldn't make a pass with the head to Jimmy instead of just making a clearance.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because you guys all have heard me say what the importance of winning duels is. On that play, we lost 4 duels. Okay, and one of them is Javi's directional header to someone. But the initial ball, the second ball, the third challenge, Madranda going to goal, going to ground, trying to slot. I mean, that's 4 challenges that their team was better than us. That's what's disappointing because normally we're very good at those individual duels. We talked to them about that after the game. And it's just going back to the basics. It's being a team that's hard to beat, about, you know, winning your individual battles, your individual duels. I think we've struggled with that a little bit the last 2 games.
We'll do one more in the room, then go to Zoom, and then we'll come back for more in here. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, because Will Bruin said the same thing. He said nobody could score on us. Is that kind of what you're alluding to? Nobody could score on us.
Well, I hate giving away goals. I mean, this league is so hard, so you can't just hand your opponent a goal. Look, if your opponent does something great, okay, fine, fair enough. If they break you down tactically or individually, okay, sometimes you can accept that. But I think in the last 2 games, we have been uncharacteristically giving away in what I feel are soft goals. Now, of course, San Jose is going to turn around and look at that and say, well, it was a great goal. I mean, we won all the challenges, and our guy struck it well. I mean, that's the counter side to that argument. But for me personally, we have to be hard to beat. That's what put us at 13 games unbeaten, being hard to beat.
Matt, we'll throw to you upstairs. I know you have a couple on Zoom. Take it over.
Yeah, Jada Evans, go ahead.
Thanks. Brian, if I could ask a little bit more about Josh Atencio. He played 90 minutes, so when did you know about the injury, and was it a bad idea, though, to keep him in there for a full match, considering the mounting injuries that you have?
Well, Jada, let me explain it to you, the sequence of events. The injury happened in the second half. The kid wasn't able to run off the field and get an x-ray. We did not know he had a broken rib. He's just a tough kid. He played through a little bit of pain in his rib cage. He didn't know it was broken. So that's just, I love the kid for many different reasons, He's a tough kid. He tried to play through it. Obviously, Jada, the second part of the answer is, had I known he had a broken rib, of course we would have pulled him off for his safety.
Great. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know, is the sequence of events. Thank you.
Matt, we'll let you keep going.
Felipe, go ahead.
So, Coach, seems like you gave the opportunity once to Reed, and I would like to see you can talk about his performance and also Villanueva that came in the second half.
Yeah, look, I think Reed, this is a good learning experience for him. You know, again, had he scored that goal and we go into halftime 1-0, it would have really boosted his confidence. But you could see a little bit, it took some of the wind out of his sails. He knew he had a big chance. You know, we'll talk to him about those moments, you know, how he feels, his emotions and all that. But again, I like Reed because he understands the tactics that we want. You know, he's very good at that, understanding playing in the pocket. But of course, as any young player, he needs to, you know, clean up some of the stuff, play a little faster. You know, those are the things he needs to continue to work on. But, you know, he's got a bright future.
Okay, we'll close in here with you guys. Final follow-ups here. Alonzo, I know you were waiting, so go for it.
Coach, you were mentioning about Reed, and I want to ask you, because he missed a chance, that's why you decide to, in the second half, give him 10 more minutes instead of making the substitution in the halftime just for the emotional part?
I always am perhaps a little conservative by people's standards. I always like to come in at halftime and try and make adjustments with the players that are on the field and then make changes. Certainly as a young player, you know, if you take them off at halftime, sometimes they understand, they expect it. Reed's a pretty strong kid mentally. Had I made that sub at halftime, I don't think that would have affected him. That's just over the course of years for me. I'm just a little more conservative.
Jeremiah?
Yeah, I don't know how much of it they're doing in the first half, but certainly in the second half, it looked like the Quakes moved out of more of a man marking and did more of a kind of traditional zonal defending. Did that take you by surprise at all, or is that just kind of game state and them being aggressive?
I just think they were holding on to 1-0, and so they were just dropping everybody back behind the ball and just picking up guys as they came in. It's absolutely, I think, a reflection on them being up 1-0 away from home.